Central Provincial headquarters up in flames. Goina assumes role as PNGDF commander. And government to procure medical drugs from India. Good evening and welcome. This is Thursday's news. I'm Kilawani. The Central Provincial Government House at Konadebu lost compartments of its headquarters last night after it went up in flames. According to Central Provincial Administrator Francis Koaba, the cause of the fire is yet to be established as investigations are ongoing.
These are the parts of the Central Provincial Government headquarters which went up in flames last night. Everything in these units was gutted and nothing was left behind.
Directly behind me is where the HR conference room is, as well as adjacent to that is the office that houses our Deputy Provincial Administrator for Corporate Services, his office. And immediately below the conference room is where the health dispensary is. Opposite to the dispensary, we have the liquor office that's also been gutted. Right immediately on the top is the HR manager's office and the HR section's office. That's also been gutted as well. And further towards the end of the HR office, that's the Works Division's office. That's also top.
According to Security Supervisor Noel Tony, the fire started at around 11 p.m. Tony saw smoke coming out from the building and started mobilizing people to contain the fire.
I'm starting to block inside the office, but office is locked. All this glass in the window where I'm can open or broken wall now on them. This like wall glass, big one. So I'm hard to black and excessive go inside. You got all staff to sleep there, all feeling most smell and smoke and all this less all seen out, and all security rush. Rush come, finding all gas extinguisher, low system, all staff, trying to cool off and down this fire.
But it was not over, the eyewitness said. After the fire was first contained, smoke was still coming out from the ceiling. Eventually, the second blaze started.
Timber wall, that's where I'm flame kirap na mibla sayo sa fire na mibla to go fire for the second time. So mibla contact talking mo or response or authority fire brigade or this lagay loka ma system mibla okim go na go around 5 to 6 in the morning and all come mibla pushing down fire na or something goes.
While the investigations are still going on how the fire started, the provincial administrator says their position will be based on the outcome of the investigation.
There could be rumors from disgruntled people from all the sectors, but like I said, our position will be determined based on the investigation report of the fire service, because they will determine and ascertain the cause of the fire.
Despite the incident, Koaba is taking this as a positive step forward.
Fire actually gives us more vigor, more determination to look forward towards one of our primary objectives, and that is to build a good office complex for the provincial government and the provincial administration as a whole.
Podivai National EMTV News.
The Supreme Court in Port Moresby has granted permission to NEC and the Attorney General to appeal a decision by the National Court that recognized Gilbert Torpo as PNG Defence Force Commander. While this is being appealed, Solicitor General Tavasa Tanuvasa says NEC's recent appointment of Major General Mark Goina as Commander of PNGDF still stands.
With the new orders from the Supreme Court, the state now has 21 days to file a proper appeal for the matter to be dealt with at the Supreme Court. The grounds of appeal include the named defendants in the National Court were not given proper documents to respond to the initial proceedings.
That also means that the National Executive appointed Commander of the Papua New Defence Force is Major General Goina, and he remains as the remains as the commander, and without question. And I have with me the order signed by His Honor Justice Hudson yesterday, and effectively that's what the order says.
These court proceedings resulted from an urgent application filed by outgoing PNGDF Commander Major General Gilbert Toropo on the 31st of December 2021. That proceeding resulted in a national court stay order that allowed Toropo to remain as commander of PNGDF. However, yesterday, the Solicitor General and his legal team were successful in obtaining permission to appeal that decision.
The independent state of Papua New Guinea was not named as a defendant and therefore bypassed. And so the orders were obtained without affording any natural justice or any sort of right to be heard to the NEC, to the Attorney General, or even to the state. And as the Solicitor General, as the principal legal advocate of the state under the Attorney General's Act, it's my responsibility to make sure that there is stability and within the administrations of each of the state institutions, including the Papua New Guinea Defence Force.
NEC appointed PNGDF Commander Mark Goina, while welcoming the Supreme Court's decision, say 2022 is an important year for the national government, and he is legally entitled to discharge functions of the PNGDF Commander.
I am now legally entitled to the NEC appointment and have the liberty to discharge the functions of the Commander PNGDF.
Representing the Defense Council, Defense Secretary John Akipe said the change in the PNGDF commander was based on reasons of national election security.
So you have a situation where when the outgoing or when the commander's term expires, there won't be a government, although there will be a caretaker government. That caretaker government will not have the equal power. Soljan would correct me on that one, to do an appointment to a constitutional office like the commander of the Papua New Defence Force. Having considered all these, the Defence Council, in its wisdom, decided to recommend to the NEC for the necessary changes in the interest of national security. And the Defence Council was very responsible in the decision to trigger the change.
Not much was said about the way forward for PNGDF, but when MTV News asked about the commander's address to the troops in preparations for the national election security, this was the new commander's response.
I will, at a later time, I will be delivering my speech, which I will touch on the elections, as well as before the men and women of the PNGDF go out to support the police for the elections. Those will be the time when I will officially make those statements.
A proper handover of the commander's office will be held once the commander's stand down is lifted. But in the meantime, Commander Goina has asked for the commitment and support from members of the PNGDF. Thekla Jogo, National MTV News.
Telecom PNG's acting regional manager in Ley, Philip Ruambi, is calling on the public to take care of telecommunication infrastructure in the city. This follows the vandalism of telecom cables in 10 different locations in the city, affecting up to 1,000 customers. Mr. Ruambi said they are working on restoring the lines. However, it is costly, urging the public to report any suspicious activity to Ley Police.
This is one of the recent vandalisms that took place at the Hillside Avenue in Ley. This cable, which channels voice and data from the telecom exchange to these distribution lines, was cut, disrupting services to over 200 customers in this area.
We had all cables cut and removed in Manol. So absolutely no communication at all today. Malahang, total blackout. No telecommunication service from telecom in that area now. The industrial area is also cut off.
These cases of cable vandalism have been committed since last year in 10 different locations. This has affected up to 1,000 telecom users, which include business houses and residents. The cost of replacing all these damaged cables is over 1 million kina. While Telecom's technical team is working on restoring services to these areas, it will take a while to get the services fully restored in all 10 locations.
Malang will be pending. All of Voco Point and parts of Chinatown that is feeding from the cable going down from Awas Avenue is off at the moment. So we don't expect restoration to be completed anytime this week.
In addition to the damaged cables, vandals have also been removing these pillar covers which protect these wires. Telecom's acting regional manager in Leh, Philip Ruambi, said these telecommunications services are here for the people to use and the public must take ownership in taking care of such services.
PNG, I'm appealing to our public, take care of whatever that has been installed for the benefit of business houses, residential clients, and for individual use only as well. Because those cables are carrying, cables both fiber and copper are carrying voice and data and internet traffic. So once you cut it off, the business house suffers. And
Lucy Kopana, National EMTV News, Leh.
so I'm appealing to
Public servants and service providers in Madang have expressed frustration after failing to withdraw funds from government checks deposited at the Madang branch of BSP. Paul Adam, the Deputy Administrator for Policy Coordination and Implementation, believes there is a misunderstanding where a particular form is involved. Form 11 is a required process that must accompany all the checks drawn from DSIP and PSIP in which an elected member or governor must sign. This scenario in Madang means public servants and service providers cannot be paid at the moment. However, BSP is adamant proper processes need to be followed.
But the administrative expenditure check does not require Form 11 and the governor's signature. Adams says the bank is still insisting that all the checks to be presented must go with Form 11. Deputy Administrator Paul Ito Adam explained that BSP Madang wants all checks to go with Form 11 as per the instruction from the Finance Secretary, Dr. Ken Nangan. Mr. Adam insisted that the administrative expenditure checks do not require the signature of an elected member or the provincial governor, and that Form 11 is only for PSIP and DSIP. Thus, it may be causing confusion with the bank.
Secretary's instructions should have been more specific, like Form 11 is for DSIP and PSIP. Maybe that is why the bank is saying that all the checks to be presented must go with Form 11.
The delay is affecting public servants' leave fares who cannot go on leave, salary adjustments, and even service providers cannot be paid for their services. It is understood that 3 signatures to the trust account in which the funds are drawn from are Provincial Administrator, Provincial Finance Manager, and the Accountant.
BSP Bank Madang should explain and all checks here when the Provincial Finance Manager and his accountant have done all the best to have a written cover letter to authenticate that the functional grants or administration expenditure do not require Form 11.
It says a confirmation letter also sent to the bank explaining that functional grants do not require Form 11. But the bank is still insisting that Form 11 with the governor's signature must accompany the check with all supporting documentation.
The manager or managers at Madang PSP Bank should explain where she got the authority to require Form 11 to accompany the administration expenditure check. When the member or the governor is involved in authenticating the expenditure for administration on Form 11, contradiction in the Public Finance Management Act.
BSP Group CEO Robin Fleming says the bank is only relying on a financial instruction issued by the Finance Secretary on November 4, 2021. Some temporary protocols were set up for all provincial administrators, CEOs of district development authorities, including provincial and ages, following an issue with the IFMS system. The instruction further states that all checks issued must be accompanied by a Form 11 when the check is presented to the bank. BSP is only following Department of Finance instructions, and should there be any change by the Department of Finance, BSP will only comply with the updated instructions. Martha Lewis, National EMTV News, Medellin.
The Independent Consumer and Competition Commission has decided to hold a pre-decision conference on the clearance application lodged by Telstra Corporation Limited for its proposed acquisition of Digicel PNG Limited and its subsidiaries. This decision is consistent with the ICCC Act. ICCC Commissioner Paulus Ain made this announcement in a media statement today. He said after careful consideration of the information provided by Telstra and comments from stakeholders, ICCC has concluded in its draft determination that the proposed acquisition will not affect competition in any telecommunication services market. Therefore, ICCC has proposed to give clearance to Telstra to proceed with the proposed acquisition. ICCC is now inviting persons who may have interest in the proposed acquisition to provide comments or make submissions on the released draft determination. A copy of the draft determination can be accessed on ICCC's website. You're watching National EMTV News. More stories after these messages. Welcome back to the news. The Health Department has been directed to work on direct procurement of drugs and medicines from the World Health Organization sanctioned manufacturers. Prime Minister James Marape issued the directions after a meeting with the Indian High Commissioner to PNG this week.
In a meeting with the Indian High Commissioner, Prime Minister James Marape announced that India was the cheapest supplier of generic drugs recognized by the World Health Organization, and India could supply drugs to PNG on a government-to-government at a fraction of the costs PNG pharmaceutical companies and save a lot of money. According to the Prime Minister, his government made a deliberate policy to do a holistic overhaul of the existing drug procurement system in 2019. However, a 3-year drug procurement contract issued by the previous government was already in place. That contract has been subjected to allegations of corruption and Public Accounts Committee inquiries. The Prime Minister says they are now moving into a new drug procurement system. Marape further adding that the lives of PNG people could no longer be endangered with an ineffective drug procurement system, and quality drugs must be readily available without middlemen. The Prime Minister has directed the Health Department to immediately start procuring drugs from manufacturers in India. The government, working with WHO and the Medical Pharmaceutical Board, will enter into this new direct drug procurement system with India if all requirements are met. Rayon Lakingun, National EMTV News.
The Women's Ministry of the Evangelical Lutheran Church in the Papua district has been busy planning to host guests at the 33rd Synod this weekend. The week-long gathering will start with the opening ceremony at the Sir John Guy's Stadium this Sunday.
ELC PNG Papua District Women's Ministry have been waiting for this day to arrive. As mothers in charge of the food, accommodation and logistics for the visiting congregations, they have been working tirelessly for this event. According to the Papua District Head of Women's Ministry, Bubi Nzawe, the preparations have come a long way. They had only few months to prepare, and despite the COVID-19 challenges, they were able to meet deadlines. They raised funds through selling food and drinks and also received tithe offerings as donation towards the synod preparations.
Mipla fili mama mastered. Some church and one area where one body waste are making money long and you believe man marries a bung na lot in this God na one like something or say money and you must put in the offer that's all. You don't get narrow road and find money. That's all. Me to 10 kilo gold or some time me plus start lo display at all. Me play looking strong long God. Me play no find money. Money me play looks lo one play up to. One and like bilum me play got long and me play allow some the bilum na give him.
With a theme, two other women representatives, Lydia Wangu and Kem Hesingut, were also grateful to be given responsibilities to take care of the synod preparations.
Na mi pla look forward lo this pla big pla boom lo Lutheran Church pa come up lo here na all get the activities pla mi pla ready lo side lo cook em all Mary all mama em all ready lo cook. Me play organize me play at Pinis. Na all believe man Mary all bring him all kai come. All Mary ba cook all within this 5 days time online is tap lo boom. Because people team lo sino them Joshua 24:15. As for me and my family, we will serve the Lord.
Me play kisim tok sabe o sembay gat narapla big pla wave lo COVID and by come lo this last time. So me play wait igo na sinot emi kam. This like me kirap in bell blow me play na kirap in believe blow me play na give me play strong na me play now I'm ready through lo hosting this last synod.
The next synod will be hosted by the Emmanuel Church congregation in Yalibupangia District, Southern Highlands, come 2024. Jamie Harrow, National EMTV News.
And now looking at the Nest Fund market report, the kina closed unchanged at $0.2850 in the interbank market. At Bank South Pacific, your kina is buying $0.2775 $0.3806 Australian dollars, $0.4027 euro, and 31.64 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, gold is trading higher. Coffee closed higher, cocoa closed lower, copper closed higher, crude oil is trading higher, palm oil closed lower, and copper closed higher. And on the stock market, the Dow Jones closed lower, the ASX 200 is trading lower, and the All Ordinaries is trading lower. You're watching National EMTV News. We'll be back with more after the break. Welcome back to the news. Now to another story of the Lutheran Church Synod. The Morobe Provincial Government, under the leadership of Governor Ginseng Sanu, has supported the ELC PNG Synod preparations with cash and kind. Under a special Synod committee and representatives of the Governor, today presented food at the Mari Mari Lutheran Church in Port Moresby. The cargo was shipped in from Lae.
Representatives of Morobe Governor and Special Synod Committee gathered today to officially hand over local foods shipped from Lae into Port Moresby as a gesture of kind donations. Governor Saunu believes that Morobe Province is dominated with Lutheran faithfuls and has lended a hand to support the church's activities. According to MPG Synod Committee Rep. Stephen Botin, it took them just 2 days to ship the foodstuff from Finchefan to Lae Port before arriving here on Tuesday. Botin says these fresh produces will lessen the burden of the catering committee preparing to feed the visiting churches.
I'm Governor come present him check finish 50,000 check and present him finish long em. I'm gonna set him up committee na. I'm talking people organizing mobilizing more kai na. By Salim come with a thinking that Mosby and Plantyman or church members lo Mosby and Walkman Marina all come stop. So on up lo make him garden na ostim distabung. The subsidy team want them or stock kai expensive. So Mipla can contribute to site lo kai since Morobe province is a Lutheran dominated province.
In appreciation of the donations, Synod Chairman Sumasi Singin says they are grateful for the Morobe governor for always supporting ELC PNG.
Time Morobe sanabo se mama na papa blog church na sanabante mipla talk thank you long governor blo you mean.
Apart from the food donations, Gusu Tuhiana, coordinator of the catering committee, said she had plans to bring local food from the villages of Morobe instead of purchasing them here in the nation's capital.
Lo plan belong bring him kakai kam lo Papa district, lo support him Lutheran Church of Papa district. Even come up lo 2020. Notikam.
We apologize for the technical error. We'll take a short break and we'll be back with more.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. The annual National Souths Basketball Tournament will once again be hosted this year in Port Moresby. The proposed date for the competition is on the Easter weekend of April. Interested teams who wish to participate can start preparing for the tournament.
The National Souths Basketball Tournament is one of the biggest off-season basketball tournaments in the country. It is aimed at uniting the Southern Islands province through the sport of basketball. The tournament was successfully held in Goroka last year. This time around, it will be held in the nation's capital during the Easter weekend in April. While the dates are yet to be confirmed, patron of NSBL Johnny Yawari says the change of venue is vital to administer the competition.
We bring the tournament back here so we have control, and also because of the election coming up, you don't want to have the tournament outside of Moresby, so you have the influence of politics and all this. That's why we've made a decision to bring the tournament here in Moresby. That's more control and more manageable.
Yawari and the tournament organizers have asked the Basketball Federation of Papua New Guinea to manage the competition. Yawari says the federation's assistance is crucial in making sure the tournament runs smoothly.
Also ask the help of Federation to come on board to assist NSPL of running the tournament. Why we want Federation to come and run the tournament is because of unnecessary loopholes or unnecessary stoppage of games that we've been having in Goroka, and we want Federation to take control. So, let the game to, start and we finish well.
Yawari added that a major sponsor will be announced in the coming weeks and is also urging the business community of Southern Islands to support this initiative.
We've already secured a sponsor that we will announce it later. But we also call upon other sponsors as well, especially Southern Islands business community, to help NSPL because.
Suli Trukai Sports.
SPPNG Hunters coach Matthew Church says he will appoint a captain for the 2022 season. Ila Alu was the captain last season and has been, but Church would like to seek other options apart from Alu before making a decision.
Yeah, look, we leave that open. I tend to lean on the players and see who they've been setting benchmarks in the pre-season. I certainly am not afraid to appoint Ila a captain once again, but also we need to work hard and make sure that we're picking someone that's working hard. Ila's working hard. It's nothing against him, but I like to see how the dynamic of the group is and make a decision on that. I think everyone's putting their hand up at the moment, which is what you want to see. We have a tendency across the first two pre-seasons that I had, they want to protect each other, and when we do fitness stuff they want to stay together so they're not getting punishments or extra penalties handled out. But we soon knocked that on the head this year, and everyone's really pushing hard, and yeah, I couldn't be more happy with how we are.
PNG RFL and the Rugby League family in PNG and Australia are mourning the death of former PNG Kumul Tu'u Mauri. Mauri, aged 33, died at his Ipswich home on Monday, January 3, 2022, after a long and brave battle with motor neuron disease. PNG RFL Chairman Sandy Saka said late Tu'u Mauri was Kumul number 209 and made his debut on the 28th October 2007 against Wales in the United Kingdom. Late Mauri went on to play 8 more tests, including the 2008 World Cup in Australia, captained by John Wilshere. Mauri also represented the PNG Prime Minister's 13 against Australia's PM 13 in 2005 and 2006. Tu'u Mauri is survived by partner Sally Tuyal and children Omari, Mona, Tuyala, Aisha and Catalina. To cricket now, and a century from Osman Khawaja has put Australia in a commanding position on the second day of the 4th Ashes Test in Sydney.
Resuming on 126 for 3, England's day began badly, losing star all-rounder Ben Stokes to a side strain, while short rain delays didn't prevent Steve Smith and Khawaja moving past 50. But with the new ball taken, the recalled Stuart Broad picked up 2 quick wickets, including the prize scalp of Smith for 67.
Oh, there it is, beautifully bowled. Stuart Broad picks up Steve Smith. That's what England need.
This time he gets the catch, and this time there's no mistake. Green goes cheaply again.
English skipper Joe Root had his turn, taking a wicket of Alex Carey for 13, but it was Khawaja who stole the show with his first Test century in more than 2 years.
Whips it, and whips it well. Khawaja, the comeback kid, comes back for 3. The 9th Test 100 for Usman Khawaja.
A short time ago, Australia were 347 for 7.
And that story ends Trukai Sports. The weather report is next. All the details after the break.
Trukai Sports. Trukai Sports.
This weather update is proudly brought to you by MoniPlus. With you always.
Weather forecast for tonight and tomorrow in the southern region: Port Moresby, cloudy periods with patchy rain showers; Popondetta, cloudy with rain showers; Kerama, cloudy periods with chances of a shower or 2; Daru, cloudy periods with chances of few showers; and Alotau, cloudy periods with some showers. For the Momase region, Leh, cloudy periods with some showers; Medang, cloudy with showers; Wewak, cloudy period with chances of a shower or 2; and Vanimo, cloudy periods. New Guinea Islands region, Lorengau, mostly fine, partly cloudy; Kavieng, partly cloudy with chances of afternoon showers; Kokopo and Rabaul, partly cloudy with chances of afternoon showers; Kimbe, rain showers and thunderstorms; Buka, cloudy with rain showers and possible thunderstorms. For the Highlands region, Goroka and Kondiawa, cloudy with some rain showers; Mendi and Wabeg, cloudy periods with chances of a shower or 2. Forecasts for small crafts for the next 24 hours. Coastal waters of southern PNG Indonesian border through Daru to Hood Point, seas 2.5 to 3 meters. Coastal waters of Hood Point to Samarai Islands, seas 2 to 3 meters. Coastal waters of Vitia Strait to Wewak, seas 2 to 3 meters. Coastal waters of New Britain to New Ireland and Bougainville, seas 1 to 2 meters. Ocean forecasts for PNG areas: coral seas sees moderate with northwest winds of 20 to 30 knots. Solomon Seas sees moderate with southwest to westerly winds of 10 to 20 knots. Bismarck Seas sees moderate to northwest winds of 15 to 30 knots. And Pacific Ocean sees moderate with northwest winds of 15 to 20 knots.
The weather update was proudly brought to you by MoneyPlus, with you always.
And that's the news, sports and weather for today, Thursday, 6th of January 2022. I'm Kilawani. Have a pleasant evening. Bye for now.